Hey, what's going on, everybody? Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel. As you know, every now and then we talk a little bit about what's going on around and some news, even though uh, sometimes I'm like, oh man, getting into the news and drama, it's too much energy. But there are a few things, a few selected things, which I think is also fun to discuss every now and then. And sometimes you ask me things. So some of you ask me on Instagram what do I think about this whole thing of Kanye West possibly running for president? Of course, I don't live in the U.S. I live in the Netherlands. I'm Italian. I have families in the U.S. I do have families in the U.S. Very close. My sister is a U.S. USA citizen, so I have a direct connection with the country, with the culture in many ways. So uh, what do I think? Well, long story short, I first of all, I don't know if it's really something serious. Like Kanye West seems like the type of guy that also enjoys getting in at the right moment to get attention or to be controversial. So it seems like very good, not only creating brands, but also leveraging that brand or his image when necessary, when the moment comes that it's ripe. And right now, with this whole also rising of Black Lives Matters, the protest, the pandemic in the U.S., the way it's being handled, the disaster that it's happening all over. I mean, it's quite crazy. I mean, I don't think many people would have believed you if, I don't know, 20 years ago they would have told you, like, in 2020 this is going to happen in the US and in the world, both because of this thing going around the virus and also the political atmosphere and Trump being president and rerunning. It's totally absurd. So, but yes, I know that a lot of people doubt that it's serious. I doubt it too. And a lot of people are already jumping in the conspiracy theory like, okay, he's a buddy of Trump, so he's doing this because he wants to take votes away from Biden. This is what I read as well. I don't think there's that much thought into it. Like, only time I think will tell. Also because you have to contextualize for people to know that for a period, Kanye West seemed to be a supporter of Trump. He even went to the Oval Office, as a MAGA hat on, whatever it's called. Um, and so we know that. And then he came forward with the statement that actually the only reason why he approached the White House and Trump was so that he could gain favors, perhaps to release, um, prisoners, Black American, African American in prison unjustly. Uh, that I have no idea. This is the things that I read. Are they true? Are they not? In this climate of nowadays politics and news, where everything is manipulated, where everything is adjusted to the narrative that the person was to convey, it's absolutely hard to make sense of everything. And even the people like us, which we share our opinion, it becomes even more noisy. The good thing is, an important thing is that I know that I'm just sharing an opinion, of course. I don't pretend to be taken seriously, or I command, respect, or that you trust in what I'm trying to say. But anyway, going back to Kanye West, I think it's the thing that fascinates me the most is the fact that celebrities, people, the U.S. it's obsessed with celebrity. The It's been a long time coming. The first president, I think, celebrity was Ronald Reagan, which he was a famous actor of Western movies like John Wayne, and then he became president of the United States. I don't know if he ran for one term. I don't remember. There was something positive, I think, when he was president, right? That the Cold War ended, but I think probably was more due to Gorbachev being open to the world than anything else. But anyway, some good happened in that period, some bad happened, like in every era. But the US seems to obsessed with celebrities. Now you have another celebrity entrepreneur being a president. And again, now following this sort of trend, Kanye West has just announced, okay, I'm gonna run for president too. there seems to be also a little bit of difficulties because he doesn't seem to be able to register to show up on the ballots of every state. Some terms are too late, so that alone probably would undermine the possibility of him probably of getting reelected. But I also don't know those states which one they are and how much they count, because at the end of the day, what matters the most is the amount of people which they are in the states where it can be shown on the ballots. So if he can show main states, then perhaps he could get enough votes. But then again, I'm like, the thing that fascinates me the most is the idea that a guy that is a well-known musician, um, producer, whatever you want to call him, fashion maker, all of a sudden decides that he can run for president. And I'm not saying that it's impossible to learn, because also there is not a school. A lot of people arguing, oh, like, look at men always think, celebrities and men always think they can apply for jobs which they're not qualified for. I could agree with that, but then at the same time, you don't really have you don't really have something that can prepare you to become a president. There is not a school like a school for presidents, the way you can learn. Obviously, I think already as it is, there's a lot of people which they always been unqualified for the job, and they just become qualified as they go. Also because they're surrounded by a lot of people with that each know their field. So that's how it's done. The president is not just one person knowing everything, because you cannot know everything. You cannot know like all the laws or science, physics, and economics and all of those things. So you always have teams of specialized people which they're specialized in their field, which surround the presidency. And so I believe that it's something that, of course, you can learn. You can learn, of course. It's good if you already know a little bit about economy, if you know a little bit about some laws, and definitely if you get into office, there is, once that it's your main job, so to speak, you can learn a lot. You can learn as you go. You can learn also how things works in terms of interaction. And I think there's also a lot of things which you can just carry on from being an entrepreneur and a businessman. The way you the relationship between people, the relationship between political parties of your own country, with your states, relationship with other countries, head of states of other countries, and so on and so forth. So I think a lot of stuff can be learned. But then at the same time, the idea that just because you're a celebrity and you have an audience and you can jump in the race makes you wonder, like, why do you want to do it? Why do you want to do it? Why do you believe that you can possibly make a change? Or what kind of change can you make for real? I mean, so in my opinion, there is a part of me that believes a lot of this, first of all, is a stunt. And another part, if it's serious, there is so much ego involved. There's so much ego involved into this, that most of the time it's what it is. I think there's a specific type of people which they seek for recognition through power, validation through power, and that they really have to get to the highest seat imaginable in society, where they think once they have reached that, there's nothing else they can prove to themselves that they have achieved. And it seems like the case for people like Trump, for people like Silvio Berlusconi in Italy, for instance, which they're both billionaires. Silvio Berlusconi, it's a TV magnate of like worth, I don't know, 4 or 5 billion, 6 billion, whatever is worth. And all of a sudden he decided to get into politics. And you see the same things with Trump. Like, I don't know how much he's worth. It's also very rich. Maybe not as rich as Berlusconi or other billionaire, but still, you got one billionaire just showing up, pretending and believing that he can run a country. To me, it feels much more like as if there is this need of those people to create an heritage to be left on history books. They want to enter that. They want to enter that type of niche, They want to enter that place where, like, look, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be forever remembered by humanity because I was not only famous, but I managed to get on top of everything. In this case, being the president of the most powerful country in the world. So I have the feeling that also people like Kanye West, they sort of get high on that. On that, like, I was the first or second black American, Afro American president, and I did this and did that. I think there is so much ego in that statement. I really doubt that there is also the desire. I really doubt that they're driven only by the desire of making things better. But then again, going back to everything, uh, would I prefer would I prefer like another term, even as a foreigner, because of course even American politics influence the rest of the world. Would I prefer Trump to Kanye West, or Biden to Trump? It's always hard to go for the lesser evil. Of course, there's a part of me that it's like would be interesting to see what a person like Kanye West could do, but I truly doubt. I don't know. I truly doubt that it's truly qualified in the way that it would be interested also to carry on what it really means and all the facets of being a president. If I'm not mistaken, I also read somewhere that Kanye West is bipolar. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he referred to it one time as his superpowers. So I'm under no illusion that other people in power have issues. If we go check, probably Trump is a megalomaniac, narcissist. With all kinds of like diagnosable pathologies. That you can diagnose some kind of issue that he has. So, but then again, if you already know that a guy that could become president is bipolar, you also wonder, like, hey, do I want a guy like that being in control of nuclear? I'm just making a joke, but nuclear code, launching codes or whatever. So this is a strange, weird here. It's really, really, really freaking weird. We got all kinds of things going on. Celebrities jumping in. Everybody wants to become president. Nobody wants to get the job done. I'm so uninterested in Republican and Democrats. I'm so uninterested in tribalism. Like there's this political party, this faction, this other faction. I'm so just uninterested in all of this. I just wish that there were people working together to work on issues. Doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat together. Doesn't matter like how you get to there. You know what I mean? I just wish that people would become a little bit more rational and go like, okay, I don't have just to get there. We don't have to fight each other just to win. In like mostly how it's perceived nowadays political. The political landscape, like also in country like Italy, there's like, I don't know, 50, I don't know how many political parties there are, and then votes are scattered here and there, and then they make all kinds of absolutely weird sort of, how do you call it, like they make weird coalitions to be able to to have a functioning parliament, governing body. And you see that instead of trying to work together, they always fight each other. They always fight each other's on territory to try to topple the government so that you can go back to re-election with the illusion that perhaps this time they will get more votes than the last time. And I mean, every time this happens, I'm like, oh man, this is so freaking stupid. How long is it going to take for human beings to realize, okay, tribalism, fine, we have opposing ideas and certain things, okay, fine, but then on those opposing ideas, which they're just ideas, can we just sit on the table and discuss and get things done? So more than anything, as a human being, I guess probably you can relate to this as well. I just wish for people to sit on the table and communicate, leaving behind like religious idea ideologies, different kind of tribalistic behavior, what kind of football team, whatever, and just sit down and try to get the job done, or working on solving issues. So if Kanye West, to close this loop, was this type of person, I would totally welcome it. Despite the fact that he's not qualified or whatever, if he really had in mind this type of thing, I will go like, yes, freaking yes, go for it. But if it's just like another dude that is running high on the possibility that that could happen, and just for his own sake, and sort of the heritage that you can leave, the legacy that you can live, getting high on power, then we have seen enough. We really don't need that. That just give the job to a freaking guy that really means it, that perhaps can, instead of what has happened in the last 4 years, can probably propel the country and the world in the right direction for once, for good. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Little rant, just some thoughts, some random thoughts of another YouTuber. So take it with a grain of salt. I'll see you later. Always spread love. Ciao.